We're going to get started. I'm going to make a couple announcements before we begin the program. We're going to, as you know from what you've seen on your tables, we're going to be auctioning off a special evening in the Blues Alumni Suite night, donated by the Blues alumni, who have been amazingly supportive of the Hall of Fame from the very beginning, along with the St. Louis Blues. We have 4 all-inclusive tickets, dining and drinking, retail value of $600, and we're going to auction that off in a minute. But before that, I wanted to just let everybody know, when you're leaving tonight, when you get down the ramp and you're leaving the garage of the building at the booth, just tell the people in the booth that you were guests of the St. Louis Amateur Hockey Hall of Fame. Complimentary parking, free parking. Just make sure that you tell them that you were at this event, and therefore you're saving money that we can use for the auction. And graciously show your support for the Hall. Again, I want to thank the Blues alumni for this donation, and we're going to just jump right into the auction. I want to thank the Blues alumni for this great donation. The funds they will go to support the Hall. They help to defray the costs. I mean, I know that you guys see the dinner, but we go through the dinner, we go through the awards, we go through different things that are given to our inductees and help this thing move forward as we close in on our first decade. So with that, I'm going to say, who will give me $500 for the night in the Blues Alumni Suite? We got one? Can I go with you? I was explaining to Larry's wife tonight that we met playing beer hockey at Brentwood, and I think Larry loved me because I was a back checker and a forechecker, and he got to be a goal scorer for a change. So we have a bid of $500. Who will give me $550? We got $550. It looks like Frankie Runkle back there. We got the big hitters. Who's going to take on Frankie? Who will give me $600? $600. We've got $600 over there, and you know what? I don't have my cheaters on, but I think that's Larry Boyd. And we're at $600. Who'll give me $650? We've got $650 in the back. I can't see that far. You're in the dark, but I know who you are. I know where you're at. Who'll give me $700? Who'll give me $700? We're back over to Larry Boyd. Oh my gosh, we're at Larry Boyd, and he's ready to roll. Who's going to give me $750? $750 for all-inclusive tickets. And you know what, Larry? There's a good chance. Larry Boyd, there's a good chance Larry Patey will be there. So where are we at on the number? Help me. $750. Larry, you sure it wasn't $800? $750. We got $800 over here. $800. We got $800. How about $850? Anybody got $850? We got $850 back over by the gentleman by the bar. What a surprise! All right, so we're at $850. Who's going to go to $900? We got anybody who's going to go to $900? $900. $850. We got $900 over here. We got $900, $950. We jumped to $950. Let's go to $1,000 right now. Let's go to $1,000. We go to $1,000. How about $1,050? $1,050. We're at $1,000. $1,050. We're at $1,000. I've been given a timeout.
I've been told to offer a one-night stay here at the hotel, breakfast for 2 and free parking.
With this?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, hold on. So, Johnny? One night stay. Breakfast for 2. Thank you. And where was I at, Keith? 1,050. 1,050. So, I just want to make sure I'm clear. We're at 1,050? All right. Would anybody go to 11 if we throw in one night stay here at the hotel, breakfast for 2, and free parking? So we were at 1,050?
I'll do that.
We were over here with this gentleman. Anybody $1,100? We're at $1,100. How about $1,150? $1,150? We're at $1,100. $1,100? All right.
Okay, here's it. You're going way too slow.
Yeah, I know. You want to do this?
$12.50 to sell two. We'll throw them all tickets.
Okay, 1252. All right, I've got a deal here. Affleck tells me I'm taking way too much time. All right, $1,250. It's a suite. We have two offerings. Two, $1,250 a piece. Suite here for the night. Breakfast for two. Free parking. Can I get anybody? I've got. Oh, you got one? I've got another. All right. You have got one? I've got one more. They're both sold. Thank you very much. Gentlemen, please make sure you see John Ferrara. John, you want to come over and grab these? Thank you so much. It helps support the hall. Again, thank you so much to the Blues alumni. Bruce, thank you for stepping in. All right, we'll officially begin the program. Just a couple quick remarks. Opening. Welcome to the 8th Annual St. Louis Amateur Hockey Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Last year, as it is this year, it was my honor to represent the Hall's Board of Directors as this event's Master of Ceremony. I'd like to recognize those that serve with me on the St. Louis Amateur Hockey Hall of Fame Board of Directors: Scotty Rupp, John Ferrara, Jimmy Jost Jr., Frankie Runco, Pat Sorrentino, and Chris Flogger. Before I go on, I'd also like to recognize a couple special guests that are here tonight. Sitting at the table with Larry Boyd, we have a couple police officers that we would like to recognize. And while I'm doing that, I'd like to add Chris Flogger to that list. Chris Flogger is a City of St. Louis police officer. With Larry Boyd here tonight is Nick Levy with the St. Louis County Police Department, and Vince Miller from the Ferguson Police Department. Would you gentlemen please stand? Oh, thank you. Sorry. Thank you for all that you do. I'd also like to take this opportunity to recognize and thank our dinner induction ceremony co-chairpersons, Craig Harrison and Debbie St. John, who do an amazing job year in, year out. Last year, I used this bully pulpit to right what I perceived to be a wrong committed at our very first St. Louis Amateur Hockey Hall of Fame induction ceremony. That injustice I perceived was when someone that evening, 8 years ago, expressed the opinion that amateur hockey really began in St. Louis when our beloved St. Louis Blues traded for a young Brett Hull. This, for me personally, bordered on blasphemy. You see, St. Louis's love of Brett Hull and his NHL Hall of Fame career, today's love of Vladimir Tarasenko, the warm place in all of our hearts for those that wear and have worn the blue note, is a product of the symbiotic. John Murray, do I need to define symbiotic? Okay, all right, okay. Is a product of the symbiotic relationship between our hometown NHL team and an intense, strong amateur hockey community. This is a bond that originated with the birth of our St. Louis Blues and an already strong and passionate amateur hockey community. You see, before Brett Hull ever came to town, St. Louis Blues, Noel Picard, and Bobby Plager were visiting local ice rinks when the older guys up here were 10, 11, 12, 13 years old. Al Arbor, number 3, who the hockey community just lost, was an inspiration to young defensemen from the Wilson Park Ice Rink in Granite City, Illinois, all the way out to Winterland. Jimmy Roberts defined for our generation what it meant to be a two-way player. I remember in Granite City, Illinois, back in 1970, St. Louis Blues defenseman who already had 3 Stanley Cups under his belt, Carl Brewer, taking the time to skate and run our Pee Wee practices. Well before the Golden Brett, the symbiotic relationship between our hometown team, for which we all bleed blue, and the local amateur hockey community was in full bloom. The names from both sides of that relationship are intermingled. Noel Picard, Bobby Plager, Jimmy Joe Sr., Perry Turnbull, Jake Hinister, Bud Steggy, Larry Patey, Bruce Affleck, John Wenzik, Tony Sansone, Kelly Chase, Frank Ferrara, Bill Murray, Doc Runco, Ray Harrison. The names go on, but one thing is for sure, this mutually supportive relationship has pushed St. Louis as a hockey town front and center, both as an example of a deeply committed and loyal fan base for an NHL team and as a hotbed exploding with young amateur hockey talent. So knowing that we recognize that there was a vibrant, dynamic, and growing St. Louis amateur hockey community before 1986, I wondered what should this year's message be. Then it hit me. While we see some familiar faces here each and every year, more often than not, there's a significant turnover year in and year out of our audience based on the panel before you. Tonight, I thought I would specifically address you audience members that are here for your first St. Louis Amateur Hockey Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Please raise your hand if you are not related to a Jost, Papillo, or a Rupp. See, you're probably here for the first time. Why do we have the St. Louis Amateur Hockey Hall of Fame? Our mission, the mission of the St. Louis Amateur Hockey Hall of Fame, is to honor and celebrate those who support, promote, and expand amateur hockey throughout the St. Louis region in accordance with our shared values of leadership, sportsmanship, fairness, and integrity. That's our mission. In practice, it is to recognize and honor the best of the best player, the best coach, the best official, the best builder of the game, the best. I, like many in this room, was a good player. Like many in this room, I went on to be a good coach. However, we're here to remember, recognize, and honor the best of our community. As a board, as a hall, we work hard in a year-to-year ongoing process to recognize the best of those whose contributions have elevated our game, strengthened our community, and quite frankly, the friendships forged in building that community. At this time, I would ask any Hall of Famer in the audience to please stand. Ladies and gentlemen, knowing the people here to my left and my right with confidence, I can tell you that the induction class of 2015 represents the best. And we're so happy to welcome them to take their places besides those that came before them.